Story 1. I laid in the coffin. She was trying to erase me. I told them I first saw her at the campus library, her long braids falling down her back, just like mine. She wore the jacket I couldn't afford last week, my jeans. She grabbed the book I'd been searching for and headed straight for the door. I should have known she didn't want me to notice her. The intern at the front desk followed her with his eyes. She looked just like me, but better. Her hair, a touch shinier, softer. Then the cafe. The barista smiled and asked, "You finished your latte already?" I hadn't had coffee yet. When I turned, I saw her, her braids dangling playfully off the back of the chair. A guy from my class sat beside her. On her other side, my art history professor. They were all laughing. I'd never seen my professor laugh before. I followed her. People from my class stopped to say hi, and others, faces I barely remembered, smiled at her like an old friend. No one said hi to me. I told them she came into my dreams, wearing my little black dress. My mom and dad were there, dressed in black too. They laughed and whispered, "She was such a bad daughter. She was good at nothing. She embarrassed us." And my doppelganger smiled, sipped from her wine. Me? I laid in the coffin, my braids wrapped tightly around my neck. I told them she was at the gallery the next day, sitting on the floor in front of a Michelangelo sculpture. Her sketchbook identical to mine, but her pencil strokes were more confident, effortless. People passed behind her. Many stopped, admiring, watching her. I told them she was copying everything I did, but better. I told them she was trying to take my life, to erase me. But the police called her a normal undergrad. They said something about me remaining silent. Liars, she was me. They were just covering it up.
Story 2. I could feel my body, but it wasn't responding. I didn't mean to sleep on the couch again. I told myself it was just for tonight, just until her scent was no longer in the bedroom. The same scent that once felt like fresh air now suffocated me. I knew she loved me, and I loved her too. But the miscarriage tore us apart in ways that made us lose ourselves. All I remember from the last 3 months was crying and screaming. And once we had used up all our tears, all that remained was the screaming. Tonight, the apartment was quiet, except for its usual creaks. Pipes murmuring behind thin walls, wind nudging loose shutters, rain tapping the windows like Morse code. My phone buzzed once and died. I didn't check it. I stared at the ceiling until the lines blurred. I pulled the blanket over me. The wine glass sat abandoned on the table. My throat felt thick. I blinked. The clock on the wall said 2:12. Blinked again. The world felt still, like it had exhaled and hadn't breathed in again. I tried to shift. My fingers didn't move. My chest lifted barely, like dragging air through soaked cloth. I could feel my body, but it wasn't responding. Only my eyes managed to wander. In the corner of the room, near the hallway, the darkness felt heavy, like a black cloud. It had no shape, but I could feel it watching me. Then it spoke. The sound was wet and broken, then clearer.
"She's kicking."
My heart skipped a beat. My thoughts scattered, crawling like spiders.
"She's kicking, she's kicking, she's kicking, she's kicking."
Her voice was coming from the shadow. Then it shifted. It became corrupted, layered, like different entities trying to speak at once. The shadow twitched. It was closer, or maybe bigger. Then came the crying. A baby's cry, thin and high. The sobbing merged with her words, repeating, overlapping, melting into something unintelligible. Thousands of whispers, indistinguishable from each other. Her voice was buried beneath the chaos, always recognizable, never reachable.
"She wasn't kicking."
The shadow bloomed across the room. Only the light from the clock remained visible. The numbers shattered around it. Every blink brought it closer. There was no shadow anymore. The whole world was a shadow. I was the shadow. The blanket wrapped around my neck, tightening slowly against my throat. I couldn't breathe. It wasn't a blanket anymore. It was an umbilical cord, wet, twitching, thick like a snake. I squeezed my eyes shut. The voices peaked, slamming against each other, her crying, the baby's wails, guttural words that sounded like commands. Then silence. So that's what it feels like to be dead. I opened my eyes. The clock said 6:03. The glass was shattered on the floor, and the red wine spread across the pale blanket. Story 3. I knew how to wear silence like a second skin. It started a week into rehearsals. I was cast as the Phantom, typecast maybe, but I didn't mind. I understood loneliness, mystery, desire for power. I knew how to wear silence like a second skin. But Mila, she was magnificent. She wasn't cast as Christine, she became Christine. Every line, every move. She was the light, and I was the background. I was roaming the theater, waiting for my parts, when I found it. It hung on a nail in the corner of the dressing room. Black velvet, gold trim, empty eyes. I tried it once when no one was watching, and something in me clicked. I felt different. When I wore it, I stood taller. My voice rang louder. Everyone else looked dim, forgettable, small. I imagined them fumbling lines, blinking under the spotlight, begging for scraps of praise. That thought amused me. Then I took the mask off, and I was one of them again. The next day, I tried it on for longer, just standing at the mirror, staring. While I wore it, the others looked like fools. When I didn't, they seemed radiant, accomplished, better than me. That shift scared me a little, but the mask made me feel right. By final rehearsals, I was wearing it between scenes. Mila kept bungling her entrances, her voice wobbled with false passion. It was offensive. The mask was right. Opening night, the director placed the white half mask in my hands. It felt cheap, like cardboard. Backstage, 5 minutes to curtains. I stared at myself in the mirror, white mask in hand. Velvet mask hanging just behind me, taunting me. I tried to fight it, told myself it was just a prop, that it didn't matter, but the mirror didn't believe me, and neither did the velvet eyes. In the final minute before the overture, I snatched it off the hook. On stage, it was perfect. I was perfect. Every line poured out golden, every gesture felt divine. Then Mila appeared. She sang, she moved, she pretended to be worthy. Her voice echoed, but it made my skin crawl. Her presence diluted the moment, stole oxygen from the scene. She dared to exist in my space. I stepped toward her. One breath, one heartbeat, one awful thought, and my hands were already on her neck. Her eyes widened. Fear, disbelief, betrayal. She tried to scream, but I tightened my grip. Her presence would no longer muddle my performance. She should never have encroached on my perfection. The lights dimmed, and Mila fell. Screams, footsteps, the show collapsed. Police swarmed the stage. I stood there in the spotlight's remains. The realization hit me. I felt disgusted by my own hands. I tore the mask off, threw it across the stage. "It's possessed! I didn't want to. It's evil. I'm sorry. I'm sorry!" I shouted. Silence. Then someone walked forward and picked up the mask. It was the white phantom mask.